Simon told me he wished he'd known this about his golf swing years ago. He's got to a great level, but just couldn't get any better until now.
Could play golf with that.
We work on the fundamentals of what starts the golf swing with the right arm and how this has a huge knock-on effect to a powerful impact position.
Does it feel flatter?
Yeah, a lot. It does feel like I'm about to hit a very big draw. Like that's a fairly effortless 7-iron that's probably gone the same distance as my hard work over the top.
Well, how far do you think that went?
This is some real gold right now, and I want you to improve and listen to what Simon says too.
Although drill, I think I remember watching this and using this one as a kid. Look at where you're at the top now.
Yeah, that's incredible, really.
Right, Simon, so you're a great golfer, and some of the tendencies and the shots that you've seen are a little bit steep in transition, resulting in a bit of a low left.
Yep.
Sometimes with the irons, more predominantly with the driver.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people will want to go straight to driver and improve that aspect. For me, there's a little bit of a fundamental here, and more importantly, this position at the top, which causes us to have this move where it's like, okay, I'm going to put power on in this direction. So let's have a little look at this here. And we're going to probably stay a lot of the time here on this down the line video. And I want you just to have a look at this. So we take this club away, and I'm going to throw some lines on here. Start the swings, really quite tasty. Hands move away a little bit from the body, and I think you always want to sort of feel they push away.
Yeah.
Because your bad swing used to be what?
The other way, flip, roll it almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can see that, can't you? Because
Yep.
your hands have moved a little bit this way. Now, for me, that's not the worst thing in the world. But when we get to the top, this is the bit I'm really bothered about. So, if you look at your right arm and your right wrist here, your right elbow is outside your wrist line. So I'd really like to see it a little bit more vertical. Okay. Now, the reason why, if we zoom in on this here, your wrist is slightly cupped, but we have no extension of our trail, okay? So we're not in this position right here.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned something. When it gets bad, what happens?
Yeah, so when it's really bad at the back, I trigger Siri. She asks me what I want, and she's not giving me a good answer to a better golf swing. I don't think it's a recommended training aid, but
you can sort of see.
Yeah, you can see why it happens.
And then if you look at here, this is what I was meaning with lack of depth. So if you look at the position right here, I would really like to see these hands work more through the right heel, and the club would feel a little more laid off because of this, because we're changing these wrist angles. I'll explain this in a second, but more importantly, what's this causing on the way down? Because I'm not just doing this, you're a great player. I don't want it just to look better. Like, there's plenty of good golfers who look a little bit across the line. For example, Brooks Koepka, he's got a little bit hands high, and the work's a little bit this way. But he does a great job of shallowing it out without standing up.
Okay.
So if you look at you right now, where does all your force and pressure go?
Yeah.
Out in this direction. Now, let me explain this, right? So if I just take that club off you there, and if you just stand there for a second, this is a really important point for everybody. There's a correlation here. It's like, if I was axing something, I wanted to axe on top of that ball, what would I do? I'd go straight up and straight down. Now, we're trying to hit it in this direction, but let's just say at the minute, your direction is predominantly a little bit this way.
Yep.
Now, we have done a previous lesson where we talked about the hip, and this has improved.
Yep.
But let me sort of give you an example. So again, I'm trying to axe something. If I take it 2 up here, and my arm's like this, where am I going to axe with some speed?
Yeah.
Unless I'm ridiculously good at shallowing out. So if we flip that scenario on its head and said, okay, if we can get a little more depth, we can get this right elbow more under, where can I axe now?
Right through the middle.
Yeah, so you can sort of see, you can move the needle slightly and improve in downswing from a slightly better position at the top.
Okay.
Now, I want to go and touch on that point where you said you hear Siri. And I can see with driver, and I have seen with driver, it does get a little worse. But driver's not a long way off working on that right now, but we want to get this a bit better first.
Yeah.
So if we look at that position at the top, and I'm going to give you a bit of a contrast here, the more my elbow gets high, this will be an extreme.
Yep.
Look what that does to my wrist.
Yeah.
Siri's activated now.
Yeah.
Whereas the better I get this, the opposite extreme, look how now I've got sort of a bit more of a different contrast.
Yeah, and it's that move I find hard at the moment.
Have you had any shoulder injuries before?
No, not really, no.
I often find, and people watching this, you might not be able to get that position if you've had a shoulder injury.
No, shoulders have been okay. Had backs and elbows, but not shoulders. So
okay.
it just seems to be where...
No excuses then.
No, yeah.
So there's going to be 2 drills I want you to work through. And if you're looking at this right now going, you know what, I'm always been a bit of a serial over-the-top swinger. I get a little steep and then I recover it with standing up, which is your pattern.
Yep.
This is going to help move the needle in the right direction. So I want you to grab this together, both, and grip it and put it up your left hand side. So we've put that alignment stick, we're gripping them both together. We're not going to hit shots with this, but we're going to get some feelings. Okay. The second drill is the drill we're going to hit some shots with. Now, I actually think this is going to do wonders to your takeaway, because I don't like that separation too much. So reference points for you here, and I'm going to do my little version so you can copy and everybody else can copy. We're going to stand here, gripping it up your left hand side. We're going to try and keep it on your left hand side, set it towards the golf ball, move it over your shoulders. So by doing this better, your right elbow has to fall better. Now, I'm all about setting this right arm a little bit better in the starting position too. So we'll say right now, let's get this position started better. So if I could get, instead of your elbow pointing out like this, just take this hand off for me. Give blood. And keep your hand in the give blood position. Just move. Keep your elbow in the give blood position. Just move your hand over. Yeah. So it almost feels like you set it in. The small of that now is pointing more up, right?
Yep.
Whereas before, more like this.
Yep.
So there's a bit of a correlation here with that movement to now this movement. So trigger points, starting point, elbows more tucked. Really check that starting position. Now, I want you to feel you keep this stick on the side up to this height. Pause. More on the side. More on the side of your body. So go do it again. Just keep that. Sit. Do it again. Start again. No rush with this. Perfect. This is going to feel crazy. I want you to set it to point at the ball. Right? Now just turn more. Right? That's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So look at your trail wrist as well. Brilliant. Feel weird?
Yeah, it feels like I'm setting up to attempt to hit the biggest hook in my life.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Which I can't do.
Well, no, I'm not saying I want you to end up hitting a hook at all. But my point being here is we're starting to move the club differently. We're starting to move the club in what I would call sort of, rather than our plane being sort of quite vertical, it would feel definitely flatter.
Yeah.
So our circle, our bike wheel's gone from being inverted here, let's say, as an exaggeration, like this.
Yeah.
So we're trying to really feel we set that there.
Yeah.
So set the elbow and just work it slowly. That's it, first one, perfect, I love it. Set it more, do it slowly. So start that bit again. For me, the crucial point of this drill, Simon, is this next phase, the set towards the golf ball. So you're trying to get that alignment stick to set at that. So it's going to require a bit of wrist and a bit of elbow. Set it now, so that's it. And I would even just do it slower. So let me do it in there. And this is really important. A lot of people rush this bit. Got some sweat on here, sweat on your brow here.
Lots of things to think about.
And this is why I wouldn't hit shots with this.
No.
This is just to get some feelings. The next phase is where I'd go, okay, this is how we're going to hit some shots.
So just because my old shot pattern, the temptation is to take the club like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of just... So the sweat is the concentration of making sure the club still goes out that way.
I think you've got to lose that idea. And why I say that is, you've had that worry, and for me, that's the reason why you've got these hands going higher and higher and higher.
Okay.
And that's why you now can't see a draw. All you can see is a pull draw or a fade. So one thing that I say is, if you keep the stick on the side of your body, right, you can't take that club inside.
Yeah.
If that stick comes, you keep hands on. This is a great point. I think that's a really great question because people fear this. If you take that stick off the side of the body, well, that's that old takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is almost like a stabilizer to stop both happening.
Yeah.
That's how I think about this.
That makes sense.
So keep it on the side of the body and then just pause, because that next phase is pause there. Right. So this next phase is crucial. I want you to don't even move the arms. Just set it like that. Perfect. So look at the difference in your wrist.
Yeah.
Right. And then we just feel putting that down to the ground. That feels different, doesn't it?
Yep.
Right. Do 2 more reps. I want to take some videos of this and look at this drill. Listen to those real technical points in the sense of these touch points. Great. Set it. That's it. It's got to set towards the ball. So does it feel flatter?
Yeah.
How much flatter?
A lot.
A lot, Alex. Great. Even flatter. Come on. Set it halfway. Real loads. pause, set it to the ball. Now, so do that again, but don't keep moving the hands up as you set it. Just keep the hands where they are. Just set the stick to the ball. Set the stick now. That's it. Now turn to the top. Brilliant. That is ace. That is ace. What feedback can you give me there? So if everybody watching this right now, what feedback can you give us?
So it does feel flat. It still feels balanced from the earlier lesson.
Yeah.
Because it's still rotated on that hip.
Yeah.
Like I said, it does feel like I'm about to hit a very big draw.
Most people look at that and go, yes, please.
Yeah, but there's you know, as we talked about, there's a big difference between a back to target draw and a offline pull draw, which I've obviously feared for a little while. And yeah, it feels flat. Yeah. Like I know it's feel versus real, but on a video I would sort of expect to see it sort of, you know, down here somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this now. And this is why I would say, like, our end goal is this, but you don't have to play great golf to get it here.
Okay.
So all I would say is, all I'm looking for this to happen here is you start this elbow better, and this is why the second drill is a little bit more important. We start this elbow better, and we fold it more.
Yeah.
That's our end goal. Now, I realise Jim Furyk's one of the best players ever been on this planet, but he's been like this.
Absolutely.
So golfers need to realise they don't have to change their swing to be good. We've just got to, I think about it, moving the needle in the direction it needs to go. Right, you ready to look at this?
I am.
So look at the left side compared to the right side. Look at the difference in the wrist. We mentioned these points.
Some photoshopping going on.
So I know it's not a shot, so it's not a fair comparison, but this is the first stage for any golfer just to get the feels. So can you see how now our right elbow is more under our right wrist?
Yep.
Whereas over here, a little bit more of an angle. And what I like the most is we're starting to see this action, this left wrist is then flatter, whereas our right wrist is very much here.
Yeah.
Let me show you this, right? I'm going to zoom these both out. We'll leave that one where it is. So you feel this is really flat.
Yeah.
This is where you were halfway.
Yeah, it's
Where did I want it? Straight down.
It's not even close to flat.
No, straight down to the ball, isn't it?
Yep.
It's beautiful. Hand middle of the chest, right wrist nice and loaded. And in terms of pressure and strike, if I said to you, right, I'm going to push you, I want to be able to push like that, don't I?
Yeah.
If I'm pushing like this, I'm not going to have as much force. Now, you said to me, and it's a really interesting point, this on the way up here, I don't like long irons. Well, why? Because you're coming in with a little bit too much loft and not putting enough pressure down the ball to probably actually see the good enough strike. And this is all relative to you because you're a great golfer.
Yeah.
Right? But this position at the top right here on the left is exactly where I want us to start moving the needle towards, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Right, have 2 more reps of me, and then we're going to do the second drill. What are you feeling there? So summarise those feelings, everybody, because they're going to be watching this going, right, Simon, I struggle with the same things. I want to have a feeling from a real golfer in order to get this better.
Obviously, from the earlier lesson, I'm still making sure that I don't do that problem and turn away. But then the real feeling is almost just keeping this left side tucked.
Yeah.
So it stays there.
Yeah.
And then the bit that I'm having to put the most concentration into with this is setting rather than trying to flow with it.
Okay,
if
good.
that makes sense at the moment.
And why that is the case is because you're so used to it working away, you want it to have a flow. So let me jump in there. I'll give you one more demo for everybody. So you've got some good swing thoughts to go away with, and then we're going to move on to the second drill. Okay. Just stand there for a second, just so everybody can see this. So the real points I want everybody to get from this, and more importantly you, is you don't have to fear this anymore. So look what would happen.
Yeah.
That would come flying off, right? So I want you to look at it as a real stabilizer set drill. I call it a kettle drill, really. So when you're at home, kettle's going.
Yeah, stand and wait for,
Your other half might look at you absolutely crazy, but saying that we're golfers, we do crazy stuff.
She's used to it.
And everybody down in the comments, let us know, like, if you do anything when the kettle's going, actually have a real big bang for your buck.
Yep.
Because you get to start to develop some habits. Right, so we're going to try and keep it on. We're then going to set it. And you sort of look at that stick there. Where's it worked?
Down the leg.
Almost down my leg a little bit,
Yep.
yeah. So it's set to the ball, then look at my right wrist.
Yeah.
Look at my elbow, and then it feels like this. Now, in reality, when I do this drill, I end up a bit here. but I'm like you, right?
Yep.
I've got to keep moving the needle and doing some reps feeling this. And you notice, I get to this point, and then I'm sort of setting it your habit here is almost rush this bit.
Yeah.
So really don't rush that set. That's the most important part, because look, if I rush it, I work this way. If I don't rush it, I set it at the ball and then I move it. So it's just 1, set 2, 3, point at the ground. They're the 3 phases.
Okay.
Right. And so we're going to hit some shots now.
Oh.
You're going to test me, I'm going to hit a shot here as well. I'm feeling a bit, well, I might regret this.
You might do.
So, I want you to do this. This is actually a bit of a Nick Faldo drill. I think I remember watching this and using this one as a kid. I think it's a really great one. You probably tried it. You're going to set the elbow, set the hand in this position. We're just going to move up and hit.
Okay.
So get your position to the ball. We're going to set it where my hands, and this is a really important point, my hands on my right thigh. Look at this, a little bit of a fold already.
Yep.
A little bit of here. And then I'm just going to move up and hit. Oh my God, that felt stiff.
You take
Wasn't
it.
too bad. Take that.
Take it.
But this is a great way of progressing that first bit into a field. So how I want you to structure this when you get home is sets of 5, and we'll do a set of 5 now, where 3 of the 5 are the set, and then the last 2 are just shots on the course. Because like I just said, we're just trying to move the needle. We're not trying to get this miraculously different. Obviously, our goal is that it is miraculously different, but we're just trying to move the needle ever so slightly. So that's it, 5 away here. Show me that little set. So show me that set. So hands around the right thigh. So even less. So it's really important, this bit. Just, that's it. That's it. Then you just swing up and hit from there. Good. Feel weird?
Yep.
Right. Let's just see 3 bit of a drills. The set, turn, hit. Good. It's all about this right elbow and right wrist moving in a much better fashion.
Okay, it's trying to come.
Flare those feet slightly. That's it. Good.
Yeah. Finding that one quite tricky.
Okay, so
without,
just
without the stick, if I'm honest,
so just think about. I want you to start.
Yeah, it's there. Whereas I'm.
So we're falsifying. We're forgetting the takeaway. We're just writing. We're taking it out of the script at the minute.
Yep.
We're starting. We're presetting this fold of the elbow. That's how we're starting. Perfect. Just now, move back and hit a shot. Doesn't matter how you hit these. It's about, well done. It's about moving the needle in the right direction.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to improve and move the needle, that's why we do a set of 5. The first 3 are so much just around moving a different pattern. Right, look at it. How many shots have you hit doing your old pattern?
None. Well, before today.
No, your old one.
Thousands.
Exactly.
Thousands and thousands.
So you're going to hit them a bit crap to start with.
Yeah.
But we're about moving the needle. So we get a little video of this down the line. Great. So just set it, turn and hit. Well done. Now, how good was that shot?
I just golf from there.
I mean,
just golf from there. Why?
Show us that again, because that was ace. So show us a set.
It's like...
Really exaggerate it. Now turn and hit. A little thin.
Little thin, but still.
Right, before you hit your final 2. Look at this. This is ace. Look at where you're at the top now.
Yeah, that's incredible, really.
That's different class. That's different class. We've got more of this. It's not going to move probably much more than that. But if you can get comfortable being there, look at your downswing now. Where does your start work?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
That's functional from there.
That's the big thing. We're looking at this, we're proving this together today, going, okay, how can we improve the downswing? Or let's say get the dominoes to stack in a better direction, rather than the minute your dominoes are pretty good through the backswing, then they don't knock over the downswing ones all the time, which is why you're capable of that one. We look at it and go, okay, how can we get them all to go over?
Yep.
We sit here, helps this deliver. So we're in, we're setting this way. So on the shots now, all I want you to bother about is the starting position of the elbow. The rest of it, just try and feel you got a bit of a feel to take in. All right, let's hit away. This is ace, by the way. How does it feel?
Good.
Close. And one more. And how's a set of 5? You're a bit of a practicer, so how's a set of 5?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I can understand the logic there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I could probably find myself. The challenge, I think, I could probably find myself hitting a lot from there.
You can't. You've got to just do 3
Yeah.
on the 5. And then after 2 weeks of practice, I want it to move into 2 range fields
Okay.
to 3 course shots.
Okay.
So you start to flip the transition of I'm being more technically focused into, okay, I want to now be more horse focused, right? Beautiful golf shot. Beautiful golf shot. How did that one feel?
Nice.
What were you focusing on there? Look at your path. 2 right, face 1.5 left, and hit down on it 3.7.
Yeah, I could play golf with that quite easily.
Anybody could play golf with that.
I want to do that, so
Yeah.
it's actually almost starting it like that.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
So-
and the rest of it just takes care of itself.
Yeah, and then from there, I can't do a lot. It feels like I can't do much wrong from there.
Do you know what's really interesting? And I go back to what you said off camera and I repeat this. You said to me your swing thoughts before today, you really had to exaggerate that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because your elbow was out here, and then if I had a club in my hand, what does that, starting here, exaggerated, what does that start get the club to do? Tries to make it work more into out. Okay, well, if I start with this, I end up more like this in my elbow in this sort of fashion, what can happen easier?
It feels like all the danger, probably a bad choice of words, but
There we go.
are in that, literally in this first few seconds of, if I go out here,
Yeah.
it ends up here, and I have to do that to correct it.
And I can see why you've started doing that, because your fear was...
Yeah,
Round here.
but if I start like here,
Yeah.
I can't get to there to have to fight it back. So it feels like that's a fairly effortless 7-iron that's probably gone the same distance as my hard work over the
Well,
top.
how far do you think that went?
I'd probably say 155, maybe 160.
Bear in mind these are range balls,
Yep.
right? And you felt like you were hitting that at 50%.
No, probably a bit more than that,
Okay,
but
let's
yeah,
say, give me a number, give me a percentage.
probably 80,
Okay, so not full out.
not full out.
146 carry with a range
Okay.
ball.
Yeah.
So 80% is probably, well, is pretty efficient. A 1.39 smash, 107.8 ball speed, and you actually were, than your average, 2.5 miles an hour slower
Okay.
as just club speed.
Yep.
So I'm saying, just giving you a percentage of what 80%
Yep.
converts to in terms of club speed. Awesome lesson that. So the 2 things I want you to dive into, that coffee drill or kettle drill, tea coffee, whatever you want to call it, and then I want you to do 3 to 5 sets.
Yeah.
3 practice to 2 hits for the first 2 weeks, and then you can transition into 3 course hits to 2